for the reminder. All right, let's go ahead and get cracking. So first things first, good morning on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Today's a big day for us as a company. We're actually going and looking at office spaces over here in Stockton. This is a huge play for fast real estate. We realize that there is a definite need for us in the Stockton area. Lathrop, Stockton, Manteca, Modesto, there's just tons of opportunities on this side of the Altamont. So we're going to go look at some spaces today. And I am super, super excited about this opportunity and to be able to grow and then really show some love to the people out here. And where do they get a load of us? Nobody out here is like us. So I'm really, really pumped about this. So I'm going to turn it over to Alex this morning. Alex, my man. If you guys are not speaking, go ahead and put yourself on mute. I appreciate that and get a little feedback. So Alex, I'm going to have you bring us out of the tunnel, bring us out on the field on this beautiful, glorious Wednesday morning. So Alex, let me turn it over to you, my man.
Sorry, so bring us out of the tunnel is like something I'm grateful for.
It's just like, you know, you're bringing the team out of the tunnel. We're getting ready for game day. You're pumping us up. Let's go. That's what we're doing. We're running out of the tunnel and you're leading the charge.
Okay. Yeah, Wednesday, halfway through the week. You know, I think it's a good day to kind of plan for the weekend. So yeah, I'm excited to touch base with a lot of my active clients and you know, get my weekend booked.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. So you guys, this week in Concord, you guys have seen it on the calendar. We're doing another workshop. It's foundation and preparation workshop. This time it's going to be all about working with buyers and doing a high note presentation. So if you're going to attend that session with us on Friday, one thing that needs to happen, you guys need to make sure that you have your high note login and credentials before we get there. That session's not going to be about setting everyone's high note up. It's going to be about showing you how to create your high note presentation. So if you want to elevate your buyer game, if you want to produce and present something that is high quality, make sure that you guys come to that session. If you're not going to be able to be there, we will record it and we'll put that in Slack later on so you guys can cross-reference. So let's talk about high quality. Everything that you guys do in this business needs to have the highest of quality, right? Why do people buy Hermes belts for $800? Did you know that they made furniture that is like $50,000 for a freaking couch, right? Why do people buy Gucci, right? Why do people make no second guesses about a purchase of $1,000 pair of shoes, right? They're not asking for a discount. What that is, it's the highest quality. So you expect that. When you go into a Gucci store, when you go into a Louis Vuitton store, when you go to a Hermes store, that's what you expect. You expect to get the highest quality. When you go to Alexander Steakhouse in the city, I've been there. I went there one time. I was hungry because they kept on feeding me these small little portions, but then finally they brought me a decent steak at the end. But here's what I noticed is that the quality of everything they did from the moment you walked in, from the person that said hello, from the way they sat you at the table, from the time that they brought out every single dish. Now, mind you, there was 9 dishes that they brought out. Every single time something hit the table, it was at the same exact time. I swear, you guys, it was like this beautiful orchestrated event. Every single time they would look at each other, they would make eye contact, and it was the unspoken, like 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, boom. Every single time. So I want you guys to put that same quality into what you guys do as realtors, right? I wrote some notes here. So high quality expectations. When you meet a client, they need to know the highest quality of expectations that they're going to get working with Austin. They're going to understand the highest quality expectations they're going to get working with Damian Bledsoe. They're going to know the highest level of expectations working with Jeno, working with Rebecca Gamon. They're going to understand that from the get because you have had this high standard of quality from the moment you interact with your client. High quality communication. Let's talk about that. From the moment you book an appointment with a client, that follow-up communication on text, that follow-up communication with your buyer CMA and the list of the homes that they're going to see, that calendar invite, it's super organized. It's fire. It is all organized in a way that they understand it and they get it. High quality data. We're going to talk about data in a second because it's Wednesday. We're going to talk about the market. High quality data. How are you presenting your data, how you're communicating about the data, and how you are sharing with them the highest of quality in regards to the data. High quality follow-up, right? Is your follow-up game high quality? Are you responding in a very short amount of time? Are you following up with things that they requested for you to follow up with in a very short amount of time? Is this something that you guys are doing at a very, very high level? When you think of yourself, are you giving that Gucci experience, right? Whether or not you buy Gucci, whether or not you wear Gucci, whether or not you're a fan of Gucci, this is just an analogy. Are you giving that high quality? As soon as you walk into the store, meaning as soon as a client walks into your store, are they feeling like, damn, like this is high quality, thank you. Here's some water. It has some like lemon in it and some cucumbers. Here you go. It feels so nice and it's refreshing, right? That's the type of mentality I want your clients to have when they're working with you. Last thing before we go on. Be masterful at your discovery. And I want to stay on this conversation for a second. Be masterful at your discovery, because everything that you do with a client is going to be rooted in your ability to do a very strong discovery. What is a discovery? It is asking the right questions. It's about asking the right sequence of questions. It's about finding out what is past that surface. Jen and I have been on many appointments together, and the one thing that we always try to identify is that turn, right? When did that turn happen? That turn happens when you are finally in rapport with the client. Well, that's not going to happen unless you're masterful at your communication, you're masterful at your discovery. Anybody can show a home. Anybody can open a door. Anybody can share with them. This is 2,500 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, has large closets, granite countertops, and this has been on the market for 12 days. Cool. But can you go layers deeper? Can you discover things about these people that are going to keep them loyal to you? If they are opened up and share about their kids, their trials, their tribulations, that they didn't have a house growing up, that didn't have stability, they didn't have security, and all they want to do is provide for their little girls, if you're able to reach that level because you are masterful in your discovery, guess what's going to happen? You guys are going to build that loyalty with them. They shouldn't ghost you if you've reached that level with them. So be masterful in the way that you build your relationship with your clients. And that's all rooted in the way that you ask your questions. There's the good, there's the better questions, and then there's the best questions that you could possibly ask. One thing I've always done in my business career is ask really, really tough questions, and ask the questions that somebody next to you be like, damn, bro, like you really asked that? I asked that because I know it's going to get me a layer deeper. Damian, go ahead, brother.
I always have to preface this so I don't run the risk of sounding braggy, but I called Mel yesterday just to give her a rundown on what I had going on. And she was giving me these compliments about what price points and clients I've been working with. And I never really internalized it like I was doing something different. I'm just like, this is what I have on my plate. But she reminded me that it is a different experience with what I've been working with. But the clients that I just got in contract yesterday, they called me last night, hell excited. There's 3 of them. And I just met them 10 days ago. And they just spent $2 million with me. Like, but to your point though, it is about the experience and what you provide for them, because they called me last night for like, we're on the phone for like an extra 30 minutes and them just thanking me and amazed that they were able to get into this house that they never thought they would own. And it was just incredible. But again, on my side, I'm still getting gratification of knowing that I'm helping somebody that much that they want to work with me on something like that. It's crazy, but it is about the experience, and is getting proven to me more and more in this situation.
Man, I absolutely love it. I got chills just hearing you talk about this, man, because I've seen you grow and I've seen your career develop, and I've seen you take your career to new heights, and all the while being a full-time dad and a full-time, husband, and having a son that's in college and playing ball. Like you're managing it all and you're doing really good at it. So setting those high quality expectations from the get, you guys, and being masterful at your discovery, right? That's something that you guys need to work on. And if you're not good at that, then just become better and ask the right questions. See where their third level is. And what I say with third level is, where is their emotional motivators lie? If we're working with an investor, who cares? The investors don't really care about feelings and touchy-feely or emotions, right? But if you're working with a family that is just trying to build wealth in real estate, being masterful at your discovery is going to help you get referrals down the road, and it's going to help you better serve them because you understand how these people are wired. Move past the surface and get down to these people's bones and find out exactly what makes them tick. So anybody else want to chime in on that topic before we go on and talk about the market? No? Okay, cool. So give that Gucci experience, give that Louis Vuitton experience, right? Give that Hermes experience. I didn't even know that the stuff cost that much at Hermes. And then Kenny did a story last week when they were featuring it at the Aria event. And I'm like, what? They make furniture? I had no idea. And so I just dug a little deeper this morning. I'm like, high quality, the highest quality, right? And that's the expectations. You think you're going to go into that store and ask for a 20% rebate? They would look at you and laugh, right? They would look at you and laugh. So I see the big smile on your face, Alex. You know what's up, man. You seem like you're a man of fashion. You seem like you're a man of designer clothing. So give that Gucci experience, you guys. So let's do this. I want to go around the room and I want to share a couple things with you. First off, some things that I've shared in the past that will help you now moving forward. And it's going to be a great worksheet for you guys to fill in. And that way you guys have some great data that you can share with your consumers. So let me pull a couple things up really quick. All right. So some of you guys may or may not have seen this in the past. What is this? I don't know why this is on here. Reactivate. Okay. All right. So can everyone see my screen here? Damien, can you see my screen? Because I'm only looking at your face.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So I'm going to share this again with you guys. And if you've never seen this, then this will be a great worksheet. And for the people that have seen this in the past, I want you guys to get really, really dialed in with this document because I want you to understand the data and the science behind working with buyers. And we're going to dive into this a little further on Friday, but I feel I'd give you a preamble. So this market is not for the unmotivated buyer. During your buyer presentation and your initial discovery, these are some things that I want you guys to start covering. Meet them where they're at. I'm curious if you've heard what is occurring.
Hey, Elias.
Yo.
It just shows your Zoom screen on what I'm looking at.
Sorry, let me try this one more time. How about now, Kylie?
Yep,
right.
it's there.
Oh, it's there?
And it's
Okay.
gone.
I can see it now.
All right. How about now? Are we on?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, Kylie, drive safe though, okay? Drive safe.
I'm almost at the office. I'll be sitting soon.
All right, cool, cool. I'm curious, Mr. Buyer, what have you heard that is occurring in our local real estate market today? What type of market are we in? A lot of times we want to tell people what market we're in versus us understanding what their current understanding of our market is. And so asking these things, being masterful at our communication and masterful at our discovery, educate and inform them. Let me take a moment to quickly share with you the reality of what is actually occurring in our local real estate market today. Share the stats that you find on the East Bay Weather Report, on the CCAR sites, on the NAR sites, and be able to compile this data to where no matter how long you've been in this game, you can rock a buyer's presentation. You could sound astute, you could sound educated, you could sound like a data dude, even if data and science and numbers are not necessarily your strong point. I gave some examples here, but this is old information, so you're going to want to change this. So here's how the dialogue works, Alex. Let me take a moment to share with you the reality of what is actually occurring in our local real estate market, because it is my job, Alex, to educate you and to advocate for you and to share with you all the nuances of the buying process, right? We've seen home sales drop by more than 30% in the East Bay year over year. A couple things that play a factor here. It's due to lack of inventory. Buyers are paying historically higher prices throughout the Bay Area. And as a whole, the average days on the market in East Bay are 22. Compared to last year, that was 32. Now, depending on what city, we have seen a number as low as 10 days on the market, depending on the hot areas that the houses are listed. Most listing agents are setting an offer date after 1 week or 2 weeks now of showings because of the mass amounts of traffic. Homes in Oakland are particularly down. In some areas are down 4% year over year. Home prices are up 20% Oakland, 23 in San Leandro, and 20%. Now, this is older data. I produced this a couple of months back, but this will give you an idea of how to structure conversations when you're talking about the market, right? We all have data and key points that we're talking about, but if you use this worksheet, it'll allow you to say, okay, these are the cities that I've been showing homes in. These are the cities where I'm doing a lot of my focus in. Let me at least understand the nuances of these neighborhoods and some of the patterns that we're seeing month over month, year over year in comparison, right? Will this market sustain? And these are some questions I'm going to ask you guys today. Why will this market sustain, or why this market will not sustain, right? Some facts here. Millennials are 31% of the overall population in the US. As a reference, baby boomers represented 20% of the population at the highest. I didn't know this, but I saw Kenny's story yesterday, so I did a little digging. More babies were born in 1990 than any other year. It's crazy to think like that. So 1990, so now you have these consumers, average price of today's buyers, 34 years old. We have so many opportunities to capitalize on this millennial market, and we have over the last year and a half. So some other data here, that you guys can share with your consumers, so on and so forth. But the point being is that you guys have this worksheet. It's in Slack. I want each of you to take this information and build your own presentation based on the facts and the stats of where you are currently working with buyers. It's important that you guys know. I want you guys to be able to grab the mic and be able to spit some fire on what is the current state of your market. So I want to go around the room and I want to hear from some of you guys. I want you guys to participate at a high level, and I want to go to different areas of the Bay because we have different representation on this call today. So I'm going to start out with Alyssa. Alyssa is out in San Francisco. So if you can, Alyssa, give us a quick update. What is the current state of the market right now? Share some stats, share some updates for the people that may not understand that real estate market out in San Francisco. So give us a high level view and give us a quick update. What is the current state of the market?
I haven't been in San Francisco too much. I actually have that on my list after this to really kind of pull up some stats and get familiar with it. I've actually been spending a lot of time in Vallejo.
Cool. Let's hear it then. Let's hear
so
about
I don't know if you want me to talk about Vallejo.
Hell yeah, we do.
Kind of what I've been noticing with Vallejo. Vallejo is on fucking fire still. Just what I've seen even from other people, it's still going well over list price. I think I saw somebody sell for over, one of them went over 30K over asking, which I think is still particularly high, considering we saw a little bit of a dip a few months ago. But it's still a commuter's spot. I mean, anybody who's leaving the Bay, I think, is really kind of looking in Vallejo, Fairfield even. I've seen a lot of people starting to look in even Fairfield, Vacaville area. So I think that there's still a lot of Bay Area overflow into the smaller kind of outskirts cities. So that's kind of interesting to see. But
love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Because a couple years ago, people wouldn't have considered moving from Oakland to Vallejo. It wasn't even an option, right? Pandemic changed everything. So listen, I love the insight. Alex, let's hear from you. So Alex is up in the Sacramento area. So Alex, current state of the market, what are some trends? What are some patterns? What are some things that you're seeing that you want to share in this environment?
So yeah, Sacramento is, super hot as well because of the Bay Area migration for the most part. We historically are down about 50% on the inventory level. So that's also been driving prices. As far as kind of the last couple months, we're starting to see, a seasonal slowing, which we didn't see last year. So that's interesting. And yeah, average days on market is like 5 or 6 for the majority of properties, that are move-in ready. Fixers, and there's still sellers that are kind of getting crazy with their prices. So that kind of stuff's sitting, but 20% growth year over year, and we're looking at probably 12 to 16 next year.
Beautiful. I love this. Let's hear from Cynthia. Cynthia, I'm going to switch gears for a little bit. I'm going to ask you a question. What's your predictions for real estate in the next year? Like, if you can just crystal ball this, what are your thoughts? What are your predictions on what you see happening? in our local real estate market. So let's hear from you at a high level view. Like, what are some of your predictions that you see moving forward in the new year?
Awesome. So I don't have a crystal ball, but what I can tell you is that cyclically, what's been going on and what's predicted to happen. So cyclically, this time of year is usually the slow season. We can get our inspections in pretty quickly, things like this. But as far as looking out a year or so, I think it's going to continue to keep rising as far as, sales, because there are still millions of housing units in California that we're short that haven't been built. So there's the problem of inventory. That's the biggest issue here, is that there's a lack of inventory. Home builders right now are calling us. Remember last summer, we couldn't even get our foot in the door for appointments. They are now calling us in some areas and saying, hey, you got a client, we can't sell these lots. So it is starting to shift. But I think the biggest problem is inventory, and we're not seeing a lot coming in. So I think that we're still going to be in the Bay Area playing catch up. Nationally, it's a different story. I mean, you look at the Midwest and yeah, it's slowing down for sure. This is the Bay Area. There's no deals to be made. There's no discounts. At the end of the day, we're still one of the hottest markets in the world.
Love it. And you guys, when you look at these stats, the NAR stats, you have to take those into comparison. When they do these averages, it's kind of like take the Bay Area completely out of these averages, right? Because the Bay Area is a microclimate. It is unlike any other market in the world. The other two markets that might be a little bit similar is Los Angeles and maybe New York City, right? Those are two markets that might be a little bit more similar to us, but we are an absolute microclimate. So I appreciate you saying that. So let's go over to Jeff Phillips. Jeff Phillips, you just put something in the chat there. Why don't you talk about that? And let's hear from you, brother. You're up in East Contra Costa County, working with tons of buyers right now. He is our top converter for Zillow Flex. And so let's hear from you, Jeff. Kick some game on this.
Yeah, so what I had just put in was the SAC appraiser, which Ernesto had referred to. That guy always spits game. Just to have that knowledge in general too, and then try to relate it to the trends that you're seeing in your area is a good reference point. Out here in Antioch, right now, what we're seeing is that our days on market has definitely creeped up. So we are now at like 26 days for 94531 and about 25 days for 94509, which is the difference between the 4 on one side and the other side of Antioch. Something that's creeping up the numbers though is the new builds that are out here. So I give that reference to my clients, just letting them know, hey, when you're in a still competitive market, you have to take into account that the new builds are going to creep up those numbers a little bit. And then homes that are overpriced right now are really sitting. So there's a home that's right up the street from me. I just took the kids over there to see it, and it came on the market 60,000 above any comps around here. There was nothing that supported it. Meanwhile, the house that just sold right down the street, which came in they started their prices at 615, but sold at 635, went below average days on market. So what I'm also telling clients is that we have a little bit of leverage with those ones that are sitting on the market, just so that we can have that conversation, that high level conversation of where did you get your comps from? This is where we're comfortable at.
Beautiful, beautiful. And for you, what are like the top ways for you to stay up to date on the market? Is it just you going and seeing homes, or is there certain reference points? Obviously this appraiser, but like, what are the 3 things that you do to stay informed about the market?
I love seeing homes, love checking Zillow. MLS, I always go I'll do, especially right now, I'll do Antioch, Brentwood, Oakley, just to see where the days on market and the inventory is. And then also the Bay Area or the East Bay weather report. So what I also started to do, just to have a higher level conversation, is I reference, so I just watched September 2021, and then I went back to September 2020. Just to have like, okay, where did the numbers change? How did they change? What are we seeing? Just to have the holistic view. And that's usually what my main things are.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. I love it. Let's hear from Jen Oaks. So Jen Oak with what she
Hey, 1 second. I seen somebody in the chat ask what the weather report is. I think that's kind of valuable.
Okay, cool. I'll go to the weather report right now so we can see it. And I'll do that right after Jen. So Jen right now has over $27 million in sold properties with what she has pending. She's going to be over right around 30 million already for the year. I mean, absolute beast in the game. So Jen, you're obviously, super busy and seeing all kinds of trends and clients all throughout the Bay. So what are some things that you're seeing on your end? Jen, you there? All right, cool. We will move on. And Jen, when you have a second, chime in. So East Bay weather report. We've showed this before. Sorry, let me get over to this. So you guys can go to bayeast.org. You guys do not have to be a member to be a part of Bay East weather reports. You go to community information. And then you go down, sorry. You go here. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. So you go to real estate, housing, and statistics, and then it'll have you, I don't know why it won't let me hover on that. Sorry, guys. There we go. You're just going to scroll down here, and you're going to go to this monthly video and inventory on sales prices. This will give you historic data. What's cool about this is that you guys can go back to August of 2020 to get a comparison. You guys could watch all the patterns. You can see different things that are happening. And this is one of the great reference points that we use. Also, you'll see here, you can find this data in Slack. For example, let's just take the first line here, Alameda. In Alameda, number of homes sold was 49. And so if we look at comparison versus last year, it's actually down 16%. However, prices are up 9% year over year in Alameda. So you guys are able to look at this data and really be able to say, okay, what is the average days, or excuse me, what is the increase year over year? What is the average sales price, original sales price versus original list price versus sales price? So you guys can see on the far right side, what are these homes selling for over asking price in these particular markets, right? So you become like this area specialist. You become this data dude or this data gal and understands really the nuances of the different markets. Now, obviously everything changes, things can change month over month, but it's good to have a really high level understanding of what's going on around you. Let's go to Ernesto. Ernesto has always great insight on the market, what's going on. He's got a really good understanding, really good stronghold on this. So Ernesto, let's hear from you. What are you seeing, patterns, nuances, and current state of the market?
Yeah, I'll just share with everybody. I use the the data reports, like broken down by city. That's what I use to create my videos. So yesterday I released my Delta region video. So it's on my YouTube. So that's where I get the data from there. But for people that, I want to take a different approach with this conversation. Sometimes we feel like, oh, these buyers are indecisive. Oh, these buyers are taking so long to make up their mind. Like, I believe in extreme ownership. We have to really look at ourselves in the mirror and think about like, how well did I set expectations? And back to like that script that you shared in the beginning, like, hey, I am the guide. I am the expert. I don't care what you read on Zillow. I don't care what you're reading on CNN or Fox News. Let me explain to you what is happening in this market. So if you think you're going to come in and specifically just want me to lowball offers all day, or you think you're going to be competitive at 700,000 for a 3-2 in Berkeley, like, let's stop right now. You're out of your mind. So let me show you where you are going to be competitive, and having that data background is going to allow you to firmly have that conversation.
I love that. And let me give you the reality of what is actually happening in our real estate. So where are you getting your information, right? Like, I'm getting CNN, my friend, Zillow. I had a buddy that used to sell real estate. Okay. Now, let me give you the reality of what is actually happening in the real estate market. What did he do? You instantly take control that I'm the professional. I understand. I'm in the trenches. I'm doing the research. I know the data. And then you hit him with that. So, Mr. Johnson, do you see why that strategy is not the best strategy that's going to win in today's competitive market, right? Here's how we are going to win X, Y, and Z. So once again, you guys, setting high quality expectations from the get will give you a different standard throughout your entire interaction with the client. So I'm glad you said that, Ernesto. So Jen is back. Jen was ordering flowers for her client. So Jen, question to you, obviously on track to do over 30 million, 27 million in close right now. What are some patterns, some nuances, and some trends that you're seeing right now in current state of the market?
It varies whether you're a buyer or a seller. So it's crazy. I was just talking. So I just got in a contract in Oakland, and everyone know Oakland market is insane. And we know we're used to the competitive offers. But in the last few months, what I've been noticing is things are just sitting on the market just a little longer than usual. And that's what I tell my clients. So it's well, like the Oakland market, it varies by neighborhood and by the type of home. So yes, for me, although the data is important, but to me, like that data is too general because every Oakland neighborhood is different. Like if you're going to be in the hills of Oakland, that data doesn't apply because those homes are still having multiple offers and selling 15% over asking. But there's going to be a home down the street, depending where it's situated, it's not going to sell as much. So I'm dealing with that with two of my sellers right now. They're comparing their homes to these other homes that are just a bit more superior, but literally like right down the street from one another. So what I'm seeing right now is just, it varies per type of home, where you're at and what neighborhood. I just got into a contract in Oakland and the home was sitting on a market for 20 days. That is not bad. That's pretty a stable market. That's our normal market in Oakland. But for whatever reason, we were able to get $20,000 under list price, all contingencies in place, and was able to save him $17,500 towards down payment and closing costs. That is insane. Like 8 months ago, that my offer would have fucking not even gotten entertained at all. The listing agent would have called me and laughed at me. And we weren't competing against anyone. It was just insane. And I did that with another client too. So it's kind of like, you just kind of have to do your homework, talk to the agents, build rapport. So for me, it's just different with every home and the situation is. And I have a house right now, beautiful house, 4-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom on Piedmont Avenue, 0 section 1. I thought that was going to fly off the market and it's been sitting for 45 days and I don't know what the hell is going on in the market. It's so weird.
Yeah. And that house is not in a bad place.
It's a great neighborhood.
It's like 1 block over for Piedmont Ave. You can walk to all the shops and have breakfast. It's got a classic turn of the century feel. So yeah, I hear you, Jen. So address, why don't we drop the address here?
Please buy it. It's transparent pricing. Yes,
that's
transparent
right.
pricing. I thought I would never use that.
Let's put that address in the chat below. Let's get some eyes on it. Go ahead, Damian.
House street listing.
Yeah, it's my house street listing. It's so cute. And my house on 43rd too. I'll drop both addresses. They're both like beautiful homes. And I don't know, I guess buyers are just like, obviously I work with buyers too. They're just testing the market. But at the same time, I tell my buyers, like, if you see a home that you really love, hop on it, because now you're just going to chase the market because we know interest rates are going to go up, but that's a different story. But let me drop the addresses. Please sell it, guys.
Go ahead, Damian.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, to Jen's point, like the Oakland market in particular has been a little tougher to navigate just because it is so...
it's a very unique market.
Yeah, it's situational. So, you might have a home 2 doors down from another that sold in 10 days, but that home stays on 30. But that's giving me a different strategy and helping my buyer clients is looking for those older opportunities, because not to say that the sellers are desperate, but they're more willing to be transparent and give you more information than someone, new to the market.
Totally. And you guys, this is where leverage plays a huge part. Give me an example. If you're pulling comps in, say, Maxwell Park, well, close to Maxwell Park, you can go to like Seminary or a completely different demographic or it's completely different neighborhood. So if you're pulling comps in a certain area and you don't know the pocket neighborhoods and you don't know the Laurel, you don't know the Cleveland Heights, and you don't know, all these different areas that can vastly change your comps, and you're pulling too big of a radius, you're going to throw your numbers off. And so when you're presenting to your clients, well, wait a minute, this one's listed at $799. Why would I pay $1,000,001 for this one? So if you run into a situation where you're in a neighborhood where there's all these pocket neighborhoods within inside of a larger metropolitan city, like Oakland, like San Francisco, partner with an agent that really understands that. And when you're pulling your map and you're looking at the radius, you're like, oh, no, we're not going to go past that street. We're not going to go past that highway, where actually that dips into another neighborhood. So move your polygon this way to make sure that you're hyper focused on that. So anytime you guys are pulling comps, make sure that if it's in a neighborhood that you really don't understand, that you pull in a partner agent or you pull in a senior agent to help you really dive into that data. Nicole, go ahead. You had your hand up. Nicole. Hey, Nicole.
I've noticed in that zip code that can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed in that zip code that 94619, like on one side of 580, the houses are between like 1.1, 1.2. On the other side of 580 in that very same zip code is between 800 and 900s. But if you cross right into the 94601 where Fairfax starts, which is literally like you can walk there, it drops down into like the 700, 6.
Totally.
Yeah. Oakland is, it's a, like you can go down the street one block over and your price point is like 100 G's off.
So you know, Ernesto talks about this a lot. Jen mentioned it. Like, look at this from neighborhood specific, not city specific, right? Neighborhood specific, not city specific, and really look at how you're drawing your map, what roads you're going past, what highways you're going past, and make sure that you get really granular with that. And the better you become at running your comps, then the better you are able to see the patterns and be able to really set those quality expectations for your clients. So let's hear from one other person. Actually, two other people.
Schools too, by the way.
Yep, schools, I was actually calling on you, JJ, next. JJ, let's go to you, brother. JJ, go ahead, brother.
What did you want to talk about? What we were just talking about, or?
Yeah, the market. Yep.
So basically, I'm with Jen. I mean, a lot of one of the things that I've noticed right now is there's a lot of multi-unit properties that are on the market. They're price strong. A lot of the agents are pricing them as if they were single-family homes, and the math doesn't work that way. So there's a lot of opportunity there. There's a lot of properties that are 30+ days on the market. So, you know, in my particular business, there's an opportunity there, especially when they have lower rents. You can go in and kind of explain to the seller or the listing agent that this is why your property's not moving. You know, even though it's the same square footage as the other ones, anyone who's looking to buy it, the numbers don't make sense. And there's some opportunity there. There's a lot more work to do, but there's opportunity to be able to get into a multi-unit property right now, where 6 months ago, people were just going crazy like everything else. They were overpaying for properties and buying them with bad leases and bad income, and still picking them up. Where right now, there's a lot more opportunity to pick it up where it should be. Still a very expensive market, but there's more opportunity.
For a lot of people that are new, or maybe people that have been experienced in this game, like some people don't understand what rent rolls are, and like doing that proposal and reaching out to these building owners. If that's something that you understand, brother, and something you can articulate to the masses, would love to get you in a small training little mastermind session, and you kind of break that down. I met a guy on the plane that was actually at the CISU mastermind with me. His name's Jaya. Well, I didn't just meet him, but he was there at this session. His name's Jaya. He specializes in 4 to 6 unit properties. Dude is cleaning up in Oakland, cleaning up. He has a whole department that puts together his proposals, the rent rolls. He gets in front of them. They have all the number, all the data, and they go out there and they're cleaning up in Oakland 4 to 6 unit properties, and he's taken over. So, man, JJ, if that's something you understand, bro, we could all. I saw Jeff. Like, I feel we could all benefit from that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to dive into, but we could probably do like a half-hour little quick session to give everybody a real easy rule of thumb, because the Bay Area is tricky, man. There's between the specific rules and laws each city has and the price points. If you get in trouble, you go to Indiana and pay $100,000 for a place, you can handle paying that mortgage on your own. $1,200,000 property here, man, you're on the hook for $3,000-$4,000 a month, and your savings are going to go real quick. So it's important to really understand that part.
No, I hear you, brother. I hear you, man. Good stuff. Mirnas, let's go over to you, and then we are going to come to the tail end of everything. So we're going to bring it full circle. So Mirnas. All right, let's go to Emerald. I see her face smiling, shining, ready to rock and roll. So Emerald, from your vantage point, hit us with some game. What are some things that you're seeing, nuances, and state of the market right now?
So I'm still new to the Sacramento area. So basically for me, I've checked the market.
Can you turn your mic up a little bit?
There we go.
Perfect.
I got in trouble for talking too loud in here. So anyway, so I'm still new to the Sacramento area, but I've only hosted like a couple of clients here. So I basically pull local market reports when I'm working with individual clients, because just like the Oakland and the San Francisco, Sacramento is like the same way. So I just kind of pull everything at that time. But overall, I'm on Inman, I'm on keepingcurrent.com, and what I'm seeing too is kind of like what was already echoed earlier is everywhere else in the United States, the market's correcting itself, but here in the Bay Area, it's just not the same. We're not in the same situation. We're still don't have a lot of inventory. So I just, I just stay positive and just know that there's still buyers out there, and I'm going to take advantage of the ones that are trying to still find something right now, even though it's the holiday season. I'm going to push people actually and create some videos and get out there and try to get people to buy now. So
good.
That's right.
And remember this, I said this on Monday, the market does not dictate your success.
Yeah.
And some people may argue that with me, and I'm okay with having that conversation. The market does not dictate your success. What dictates your success is your ability to execute and execute daily. That's it. I don't care what happens, right? Somebody told me, you'll see when strong agents and not so strong agents arise. When the tide goes out, you'll see the people that were swimming without trunks, right? And what he meant by that is that anybody can sell 1 or 2 houses a year. Anybody can sell 1 or 2 houses. But the people that execute daily don't give a shit about what's happening in the market, because they're committed to that. In every single market, look how Kenny built his business. Kenny built his business out of the boom of what happened in the downfall of our market in 2009. Guess what he became? He became an REO specialist. Guess what he did? He put a fucking GoPro on his chest and recorded everything and put it on YouTube when people were like, what, YouTube selling real estate videos? Pfft, that's not going to work. We're Berkshire Hathaway. We're Coldwell Banker. Those styles are never going to work, right? And look at where we are today, right? So the market will never dictate your success, you guys.
Just real quick on that. I say a million times, that is the main reason why I came over here. It was because of Kenny and his crazy ass out of the box thinking. I mean, I'll be honest, I could pretty much go anywhere and still generate the same amount of limited business that I do. It's not a big deal. But I just love the way he thinks, and I love the way he just exposes himself out there. And if it works, it works. And if he doesn't, and he pivots, man, the dude pivots. If it doesn't work, he doesn't sit there and die on that hill. He just keeps moving. Fantastic. I love working for that.
You guys, I could have gone to any other brokerage in the Bay Area, and I was offered leadership positions all throughout the Bay Area in tarot and coaching positions with K-Dub. And Kenny and I had worked together at Climb, and he said, man, he's like, why don't you just be my sales manager? I can't pay you a salary. I'm like, if it was anybody else, I wouldn't have done it. But I'm like, let's do this, man. Let's build this rocket ship. And now we're actually putting on an event. We're charging $1,000 a head for people to come from all out throughout the country to come and get a peek under the rocket ship hood and understand how we've built this company. To say that we're able to build this stage where people are going to pay $1,000 to come and listen to us speak for 8 hours, humbled, right? But it's just, it needs to be told. And now people get to see underneath the hood and how we've done what we've done. So really, really stoked to be here. So you guys, let's do this. Let's full circle. Let's go around the room. I want to hear a couple people's takeaways from today's session. Austin, let's spit some fire, bro. What are some things that you took away from today's session? And what's one thing that you're going to do today?
Well, taking away from the session, just stay on top of your market updates. I've been trying to use the MLS to my advantage and just go in every day, refresh it to how many's been listed this month, been sold, so on and so forth. So it's great seeing that other people are keeping on top of that. And then as far as what I'm going to do today, I plan on doing some circle prospecting. I have about 5 properties on the MLS in Berkeley that just sold. And so I'm going to call a couple hundred numbers around there and see if I can get some sort of traction and hopefully a listing or 2.
Man with the plan. I like that. Action, 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 execution. Good stuff. Jaya, let's hear from you. Takeaways from today's session and what's one thing that you're going to accomplish today?
Today, oh gosh, I have no idea.
Okay, let's make sure that you have that idea, right? Nothing should be haphazard in your business, right? We wake up, we know exactly what we're going to accomplish and why we're going to accomplish it, right? But let me hear from you. Takeaways from today's session.
That the market, I think that in Sacramento, it's a lot like in San Francisco or in the Bay, I should say, where like different niches are completely different. So like Natomas will be completely different than West Sac, completely different than Del Paso, completely different than Roseville and Rockland. And knowing those differences and knowing that is huge and very beneficial. But it's kind of more spread out. So it's a little harder I feel like it's just a little bit more work to be able to catch up on those, because generally you have clients that are more spread out just by the nature of how it's set up.
So Jaya, let me ask you a question. In order for you to feel like you won your day today, what would happen in your business?
Well, right now, everybody that I've been working with is in contract or waiting on a response for contract. So I guess going through and trying to get, going through and following up on some old leads, sphere of influence. I reached out to a couple people yesterday. Speaking of which, anybody have a house in Vallejo off market, I would love to hear from you. But outside of that, I think following up with them and trying to add 5 new clients would be good.
So let's do 10 SOI follow-ups and 5 new clients added to your database. I feel like if you can commit to that, that's definitely you winning your day.
Okay.
So good stuff. Sandy Cruz, let's go over to you. Takeaways from today's session.
Okay, I feel like I'm probably a broken record on this every Wednesday, but my takeaways are I just need to really get better about spending time on my market research and formulating a plan for how to consistently do that. So takeaways from today are kind of like starting a list of some creative ways besides just checking, the East Bay weather report and like all the kind of standard places to look, like creating my own little searches within the MLS. So I'm going to really prioritize doing that so I can feel better informed. I think it's just still being within my first, just over 2 months, less than 3 months. It's all just felt so overwhelming, like so much information in a totally new place that I've never thought about before, sort of information overload, but I'm finally starting to feel like I'm understanding things a little bit more. And because I've been actively out there showing, I went into contract last night in my first sale for my friends that I've been representing, and I'm super excited, but it's been like a roller coaster with them. And I've learned so much just working with this one pair of, clients, like, because they've had a lot of constraints financially. And we've been looking anywhere from San Pablo to Vallejo just because of their budget. So I've learned a whole lot going through it. I put 3 offers in for them, and each one of them I learned something different because each was a totally different property and different parameters. So
well, let's stay on this for a quick second, because Jen just said the best way to learn is being out in the field. Everything that you just said is going to equate to beautiful content. Hey guys, first things first, I just got into contract for my very first sale, but let me share with you everything that I learned up until this point. Here's what I learned about this neighborhood on this home. I thought we had a chance on this home, but it had 17 offers, went 20,000, whatever it is. Like, share this because you've learned a lot. You already have third-party stories, data that you could share with future consumers. You might not have to break it down per city and the stats on every single line item. You don't have to have that. What you have real life experience. What I want to challenge you to do is I want to challenge you to turn that camera around, sit down where you are right now, and share with the world what you've learned throughout this transaction, because this is valuable, because you've learned so much. And I think that this is a great story and this is a great video. How many people think that this would be a great video and video content for Sandy to create? 100%, you guys, 100%. So Sandy, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to push you, because that is you really understanding the market. You know, you saying I'm trying to figure it out and feel overwhelmed, like you've got it. You've got it because you've had that experience. And congratulations getting in your first contract. Stoked for you.
Thanks.
Stoked. All right, let's go to a couple more people. Here's some takeaways. Kathy Daniel, takeaways from you from today's session.
Oh, wait.
You're good.
Hi. I didn't know if you could hear me or not. My biggest takeaway from today, and there's great information the whole day, but be masterful with my discovery, and it's all rooted in how we ask. So I tend to just talk a lot and listen, but I think I need to be more masterful about how I'm asking the questions I'm asking. Usually within, 13 minutes, I have your whole life story. And I'm really good at that, but I need to be more masterful with how I'm asking about that.
Beautiful. Love it. Ernesto, was your hand up from before, or was that a new hand up?
Yeah, it was a couple takeaways for me. One of the reasons why I enjoy hopping on this call is I like to listen to who is an expert in certain areas. So for example, when I think Martinez, I think Cynthia. When I think Antioch now, Jeff knows his stuff about Antioch. When I think Oakland, especially like higher end Oakland, Jen Oak is probably who I'm going to reach out to. So that's another thing that I get out of this call. And piggybacking on to Jen's point, I like to leverage high level data, but when you can prove that you're an expert on the specific pockets of different cities, me being from San Francisco, like I can break down San Francisco better than anybody that I know. I just don't live there anymore. But understanding the nuances and how the cities change is super duper helpful as well.
Love it. Love it. Always spitting fire. So you guys, a couple of things that I wanted to leave you with. If you haven't picked up this book, pick up this book, particularly if you're a brand new agent in this business. Exactly What to Say. It's just a little pocket reference book, things that you can learn to really get into the habit of saying these things that need to be said during the transaction when you're working with clients. A couple things to share with consumers right now on video. I love Sandy. I can't wait to see your video. This is going to be great. Obviously, I'm hyping you up because I believe that this could be done. It's going to be great. But letting people know that it's time to winterize their homes. If you were, if you were around in the Bay Area in the last couple of days and experienced that rain, so many people had leaks and clogged gutters and floods in their basement because the sub pump wasn't working. These are all things to build really great content on your social media. Winterizing your home, have these conversations, ants, termites, sub pumps working, making sure the gutters are clean. These are things that need to be said if you have not already started speaking about them on your social. Yeah, it is a book. Sorry. So
okay, it's by Phil.
Let's see here. There's
Phil Jones,
Jones, Smith, and Mackin.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. So you guys, winterizing the homes and prepping people and just providing a level of value and education to our consumers. So before we head out, you guys, I want you to look at every single day. And I want you guys to ask yourself, did I win my day? Did I win my day? And like I said, if you didn't, stop making explanations. I don't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. Don't explain, right? Just go out there and win your day the next day. I put this in Slack, you guys. This is called The Rock. So The Rock is your absolute must. This is your unmovable. These are the things that I have to commit to in my business. It's a worksheet. I put it into Slack in their general channel. Feel free to print that out, fill it out. Feel free to share it with me. We're going to be back here on Friday. On Friday, we're going to review your commitments that you made from last Friday. And I want to see how many of you guys stay true to those things. If you have not accomplished those things, you have 2 days. 2 days, you guys, to really turn this business around. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for anybody else except for yourself. This is all about you. And if you're doing things for yourself, then everyone else will benefit, but it has to start from within. So have some fun, get out there and own your day, represent in a big way. If you're going out to Stockton today, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. We're going to go represent and see about locking down an office space. And while I'm in Stockton, if you guys know a good place while I'm out there, I want tacos for lunch. So feel free to text me and let me know the best places in Stockton, because I'm sure Stockton has some good places for tacos. So
Good boys.
What is it?
Jim Boys.
I will act like I'd never heard that. Jim Boys is the most garbage tacos on the face of. I'm from San Diego, Kathy. How dare
Thank
you?
you, Elias. Thank you.
How dare you?
Ooh, I'll have a taco truck pull up to your house.
Kathy, I love you, but if you are thinking that is good tacos, you and I have a date for tacos.
Okay.
Kathy, whenever you're in the Oakland office, let me know. I'll be more than happy to take you to
and
5 misspelled restaurant names, but the food is delicious. Every single one of them have weird, kind of like taco names that are kind of Americanized, but the food is bomb. Trust me. Just let me know.
Well, the shittier the service, the greater the food. FYI.
I have a client who lives in Stockton and she swears by Jim Boys. She always wants me to take her there.
Hey, I'll take you to the hood. The grittier the neighborhood, the more dangerous the neighborhood, the better the tacos. All right. So you guys get out there and have some fun. Text me with your recommendations. We're going to go out here and represent for the Central Valley. So have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for all of your fire insight today. Appreciate you guys all. Grateful for each of you. Have a great day.